Well, welcome to my show at the Montgomery Museum of the Arts and History in Christiansburg, Virginia. These works that you see here are looking forward, looking back. That's the name of the show. So these are signature pieces, some of them that go back quite a ways, and then there are new works in here as well. Some of these pieces are self-generated, and some of them, like Rapture in the front here, were commissioned or are commissioned pieces. Nearly all of them are cast in bronze, so that's a long process and expensive process too. The show also includes banners depicting commissioned pieces I've done that are elsewhere. This is Addison Caldwell on the Virginia Tech campus, and then over on the other wall, if we'll come over here, this is Calling the Powers, which is located on the Greenway in Roanoke, Virginia. This area right here, I'm calling this in the studio. That is, I hope it gives viewers an idea, visitors, and kind of an idea of the behind the scenes work that ends up like those bronze pieces over there. So here, in fact, is what a little model I did called Windy Day. This was for another reason, and it wasn't accepted as the final version, but I like it well enough that I kept it and just called it Windy Day. Now this is a small replica of a bust of C.S. Lewis, which I did for the Wade Center in Wheaton College. And this includes a mold. Here you can see the face of Lewis inside here. So it is with this mold that you produce this replica, which then I finish out. These here are three figures. This is Arthur Griffith, Michael Collins, John Devoy. These are all figures important to the Irish Revolution of the early 20th century. So I was commissioned to do these maquettes. The John Devoy piece, actually I was asked by the commissioning party to enlarge that one. And here's a portion. You see the similarity. I'm going from this scale to this scale. And then ultimately, this is a full figure. That figure was then cast in bronze and will be, its ultimate home is the Irish American Heritage Museum in Albany, New York. And then also, lastly, you've got another example of molding here. This is called a wax positive. This is Bakuni, that is a Buddhist nun. So I made a clay original, and molded that clay original, opened that mold up, took the clay out, painted wax in here so it's actually hollow, and now I'm in a refining process, and once I'm satisfied with that finished wax, that then can become a bronze work once it's molded and cast, but that's the next stage. So that's in the studio.
So show me a couple of these individual ones.
All right, well, let me show you this piece right here. It's called Celebration. Many of my pieces are evolutionary. They start one place and they end up somewhere else. So that is, I began this sculpture with this woman, and I had her kind of leaping into space, but I just couldn't seem to get it to where I was satisfied with it, and I let the thing go, as will happen, days, weeks, months. And it begins to deteriorate at that point. Well, I was doing an artist in residence for Carillion and picked that piece up and kind of began to refurbish it into this, on this platform, and added this arch. So I'm inventing all of this, and I had these four heads. They're like the heads of demons, which I cannibalized from another sculpture that expired, you might say. added them together, and so that is how the piece came out. I like it a lot, but it's and we can look at one more piece too, if you
Okay.
like. And this we'll go over here. This is actually my most recent work, and this is called Hammer of Justice. So this figure, Isaac Granger, is actually the protagonist in a series of novels, historical fiction novels I've written. And he was originally a figure who was forge and chain, so he was actually illustrating a scene in the first novel of the trilogy. But for technical reasons, I didn't finish that one out too, and left that set once again, but then began moving the thing and releasing him, you might say. So I broke him loose from that anvil and that forging of the chain and let him fly. And it's very cantilevered, and I like that. So there's a real sense of freedom there. So that black patina works out great, and it's actually, if we go turn clean around here, we have Mr. Jefferson, and on the other side we have Isaac. So this is Isaac Granger, same figure that appears in that sculpture. It's taken from a historical photo from the 1840s, and he's a powerful figure. And I had trouble keeping him. He's big-chested, big-shouldered, and symbolically is bearing the burden, the weight of supporting the plantation that Mr. Jefferson enjoyed. So, and you can see his apron here has just got rope, scrap, tying it together. Really a great figure to do. And I love that cobalt patina also. So I hope you will come visit. The show opens on Thursday, November 17th, and it's going to be up through the end of January 2023. I hope you will come by to the Museum of the Arts and History in Christiansburg, Virginia.